like to introduce Diane Weaver-Dunne from CRIS Radio. Diane Weaver-Dunne is the Executive Director of the Connecticut Radio Information System, i.e. CRIS Radio. Her career has spanned 3 decades as a journalist and during the past 11 years as a head of the nonprofit CRIS Radio. Diane was a news editor of the Education World, the managing interim editor of the Hartford Business Journal, and a reporter for the Hartford Courant. She holds a master's degree in communication from the University of Hartford and a bachelor's degree in journalism from Syracuse University. In addition to working in the news media, she was an adjunct professor in communication at the University of Hartford for several years. Our Lions Club has used CRIS Radio in one of our applications, and it's got a lot of good press. Andrea knows that well, and she was part of the installation of it. At this point, I'd like to introduce Diane Weaver-Dunne. She'll be talking about CRIS Radio.
Okay, thank you. And now I'm going to share my screen. Oh, let me see if I can. Whoops. Why am I not? Okay, here we are. And I'm going to try to make this as painless as possible. Okay, can you all see the share? Okay, I'm going to assume that's, I don't know why I'm asking. Okay, so anyways, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about CRIS Radio. And a little background about CRIS. CRIS Radio has been around for 42 years. We obviously, most of you know, we have a state-of-the-art recording facility right on Windsor Avenue next to Windsor Federal. We broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And remarkably, during the pandemic, when we had to close our doors to all of our volunteers and our voiceover talent, we have not missed one broadcast. So I'm very proud of the organization, and we have a very small staff of 4 people. And everybody stepped up and made sure that we were able to keep recording and doing this. Also, I want to let you know that we are the only radio reading service in the entire state. And we have 5 regional studios as well. And one is in Norwalk, Norwich, Danbury, Trumbull, and West Haven. Unfortunately, due to COVID, most volunteers are not allowed to go into most facilities. So we are only recording at our Norwalk facility at this point, and obviously at Windsor, but Windsor is also staff only. So anyways, just want to tell you that CRIS Radio, until for about 30 years, we were known only as a radio reading service that provided broadcast or audio versions of newspapers and magazines. And we broadcast on antenna radios. Most of some kids, younger people don't know what an antenna radio actually is, but we broadcast through the airwaves on audio channels, secondary audio channels that were donated to us. And then about 11 years ago, our board decided that we would begin to try to focus on ways to improve access in the community to underserved populations. And that would be children's magazines, Spanish language magazines, and then also in the community audio tours. Uh-oh, I think 2 people are trying to join in. Oh, they're just adding chats. Okay. Oh, they're in the waiting room. Hold on. Let me just admit. So Sharon is joining us. And let's see if there's anybody else. Okay. So anyways, CRIS Radio is extremely grateful to the Lions Clubs. And this is a picture of our some of our volunteers. This was, I call it before times, pre-pandemic, when we actually got together at the New Britain Museum of American Art. And that's also one of the locations where we have our CRIS Access audio tours. And let's see, something, it's not letting me, oh, there we are. So over the last 40 years, CRIS Radio has contributed more than about $32,000 a year, but over the last 10 years, we just compiled a figure, and the Lions Club had donated $414,000. The Lions Clubs of Connecticut, $1,414,000. The Lions Club is clearly the most committed organization to CRIS Radio of any civic organization in the state. And again, it's been truly, the Lions Club have been our best partners over all these years. Whoops, sorry about that. One of the things that we're very grateful to is technology. Technology has helped us expand our services. So back 10 years ago, prior to the internet, we were really unable to make our service available to a large number of people. And you can see that in 2010, we were making our service available to just 4,000 people. Today, it's over 108,000 people. And that really is due to program expansion and also to technology. So one of the things people ask us, well, how do you serve people? We serve people in a number of ways. We are in people's homes. We still provide free radios, internet radios, broadcast radios. We are in assisted living facilities, senior centers, healthcare facilities, hospitals, schools, and museums. And again, technology, one of the fastest growing ways that people receive CRIS Radio is through hands-free speakers like the Amazon Echo or through their mobile app. And CRIS Radio has 2 mobile apps, and one is called CRIS Radio, and people can listen to it straight off their smartphone. We are launching this new program through our CRISKIDS program called the CRISKIDS Book Club. Actually, in a few days, WFSB is going to be interviewing some of the students and CRIS Radio for its Bright Spots segment. Nicole Nalapa is going to be coming in. But the Hartford Public Library program in Enfield called Educational Resources for Children, Camp Current. We just found out Keeney School in Hartford. A number of these school organizations are going to use this program called the CRISKIDS Book Club because we make it available for children who have learning challenges. And I see somebody else is trying to come in. No, I guess not. Sorry about that. So this CRISKIDS Book Club, what has really happened is that a lot of children have had learning loss this year because of the pandemic. They haven't had a chance to catch up. So this CRISKIDS Book Club, what we do is we record and pre-record books, specific children's books. Let's say 4 or 5 children's books would go onto an MP3 player. And then the children, as a matter of fact, you can see this little girl, she right here this is an MP3 player, and she has headphones, and she's following along with listening to the audio and following along in the book. And what we found, we actually conducted an independent, oops, and I'm having trouble going to the next, oops. I think I need another battery in here. Oh, okay. We conducted an independent study, and we looked at our lowest level readers, and 75% of the kids who listened to CRISKIDS, to the audio version or the audio book, and followed along in the hard copy book, 75% of those kids improved more than expected, compared to just 7% of the kids who did not get CRISKIDS. And this study was conducted independently over 14 months in partnership with Enfield Public Schools. So we do know that children who use CRISKIDS listen to it consistently, kids with learning disabilities or kids with low literacy levels, they improve dramatically by listening and following along. And we found that the tipping point or the sweet point is listening to it for 100 minutes during the school year. And for kids in summer school, all they had to do is listen to it for 30 minutes and they would avoid what they call the summer slide. So we are, CRISKIDS is available throughout the state, but you can see that we are now making it available to over 5,400 children. So the other thing that, and Jim mentioned how we partnered with you folks, the Windsor Lions Club, to create an audio tour of 17 exhibits at the Connecticut Valley Agricultural Museum, unless they've gone back to calling it a Tobacco Valley Museum. I'm not sure. But this collaboration, it was the first collaboration where we recorded the audio descriptions and exhibits for every single exhibit in this small museum. Most of the other museums, they'll do maybe a permanent exhibit or they'll do a few, but this was the first that all of the exhibits were done. Since we've partnered with the Windsor Lions Club, we have created an independent CRIS Access website. So we're really trying to create a fee for service so that we can generate some sustainable revenue. We also created another mobile app. It's called CRIS Access. Well, once you download it, you can download it for an iPhone or an Android. But what's special about this one, in addition to scanning the QR code, if you have an outdoor walking tour, we can now take the GPS longitude and latitude measurements, the location, and automatically that will trigger, once you get to that location, it will trigger the audio recording. So people with low vision or other disabilities, even mobility or fine motor skill disabilities, they will be able to hear and listen and learn about an outdoor audio exhibit or a sculpture garden more passively, and it will be more accessible and easier for them to access. So we're in about a week. No, that's not actually, whoops. I was going to list all of the, I was going to tell you that we are in 9 museums, and of the museums, we beta tested this GPS CRIS Access mobile app at Jonathan's Dream Playground, which is an accessible playground, and it's on Bloomfield Avenue in West Hartford. And we've hesitated about having an official launch, but that accessible playground, that was also funded in part by the Greater Hartford Host Lions Club. So the Lions Clubs have been big proponents of our CRIS Access mobile app and making accessibility more available within the community. We're also at the New Britain Museum of American Art. Old Sturbridge Village is in the process of converting and using both QR codes and the GPS longitude and latitude measurements. We're also in the New England Air Museum, and I'm starting to forget Mystic Aquarium, of course, and quite a few others. All right, and Wyndham Textile and History Museum, and that was also another Lions Club project. And of course, there was the New England Carousel Museum, and the Lions Club also supported that project as well. All right, so another thing about technology and CRIS Radio is that we are now able to take our broadcasts and stream directly through their in-house TV system to each patient room. So we started with Connecticut Children's Medical Center with our children's magazines, and we had 2 streams to that hospital for older children and very young children. And then we started offering it at St. Francis Hospital, then to Mount Sinai Rehab Hospital, and to Stanford Hospital. So this has, it's giving people an option to listen to newspapers and magazines and other materials, National Geographic, for example, or something else other than watching TV. So that has been really helpful. The other good thing that we've done is we are streaming in 3 of those hospitals, not only in English, but also in Spanish language. So, and then talking about our Spanish, CRIS Radio is the only radio reading service in the entire nation that offers an extensive Spanish language lineup. So, and you can see there's about 12 magazines there, including National Geographic in Spanish, People, Reader's Digest, and actually our feedback from Stanford Hospital has been that the Spanish stream seems to be very, very popular. All right, and then the other thing that we were unable to do prior to internet radios was install and serve CRIS Radio, make CRIS Radio available at assisted living facilities. And this project, we are now in 118 facilities. And this is really thanks to the efforts of one of your Alliance members, Lou Mirando. And throughout the state, he was able to install internet radios in 118 of these facilities, which was a tremendous undertaking. And also now we're making it available to more than 14,000 people, thanks to Lou's effort and to internet radios. All right, another project, in this project, we had partnered with Lizette Pelletier at the State Library. Our Voices of World War I, we received a National Archives grant where we recorded historic documents and we made them available. And back when I first started there, we had a volunteer who was completely blind, but he was an avid reader and an avid historian. And he always complained that he could not get access to history books because there weren't that many that were done in Braille for him. So he sort of was the guiding light of making this kind of information, these historic documents available. But anyway, since we've done the Voices of World War I, we've had over 37,000 downloads of those documents. And then this summer, we did one on women's suffrage, a much smaller project. And that one has not attracted as many folks, but it was also grant funded, and we did that project for about a year. And we were able to uncover some unique information that had not been well known. And it was actually this Mary Townsend Seymour. She was the first president of the Hartford NAACP chapter, and she was advocating for the amendment to really consider the rights of all women, especially women in the South. All right, and then I'm almost done. Just to show you the Lions Club, this is last year. The Lions Club donated, your donations came to about 5% of our total budget. Most of our funding comes from foundations and grant writing that we do. And then we do the fundraising. We have a golf tournament, and of course donations. The state of Connecticut now donates about 70,000 to us. They had dropped it down to 20,000 at one point, but we're very grateful that they are back up to 70. Okay, and that's just a quick graph to show you the last 2 years they had increased it up to 70, but some years they drop us down, and it's very challenging when that happens. All right, and then I think I already mentioned back in the beginning of the year, when the pandemic hit 1 year ago, we were pretty concerned about how we were going to get through this. But we decided to waive our fees for all the hospitals that we're serving. We waived our fees for the schools because they had so many expenses to make sure that their schools were safe. And so we've continued to do what we do best, and that's provide free radios, provide service to the schools. And we also are sitting on 2 task forces through the governor's office to help make sure that all populations are getting the kind of information they need about the vaccines, about testing for COVID, and other important information. All right, and then this is my last slide, but we will have our annual big golf fundraiser next in September. It's all outdoors, and we did have to cancel for 2 years in a row our Dining and Dancing in the Dark Gala. It's just not feasible to have 200 people indoors. So maybe one day we'll go back to having that, but anyways, so if anybody can join us, please do. And now I'm going to go back and unmute you folks.
This was very interesting. I had no idea personally that, CRIS Radio wasn't as involved in as many things as you are. Able
Jim,
to
can I add something before she leaves?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are also running off of CTN, the government access channel through Comcast.
Yes, we are. That's right. Although little by little, some of the cable channels are booting us off. But yes, it's the second audio program channel on cable channels. So we can stream through that. Okay, and I don't have to touch your mute or unmute anybody, right? No.
So Jim, did you have a question? Jim Ristis? Unmute you.
This is Jim. I'm a relatively new member. Could you summarize your target population that is intended to benefit from CRIS Radio? It wasn't clear. It seemed to be very comprehensive, but sometimes limited. Summarize.
Okay, and I should have probably mentioned that. So our mission is to make available high quality electronic versions, audio versions for people who are blind or who have a print disability, print handicap, print challenge. So that could be anybody with low vision. It could be somebody with cerebral palsy and can't turn a page, or Parkinson's disease and have fine motor skills. Could be somebody with undergoing some type of medical treatment or under a medical, the medication is making it difficult for them to comprehend and read. It could be dyslexia. My dad had dyslexia. It could be for somebody like that. So it's any type of print disability, and blindness is, we're associated with people who have blindness, but our mission for the 42 years includes anybody, any type of issue that would impact your ability to read. And that would include children with special needs. That's why we started our CRISKIDS program. It's for children with, with special needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Diane? We're all set. I really thank you for the time and this information.
You're welcome.
Jim,
Thank
Daniel,
you.
did you have any parting words? You're on mute, by the way.
Thank you very much, Diane Weaver Dunne. I appreciate it. You've really helped us out with the Windsor Lions Club with our CRIS Access. We do have a Leo's Club in town, and we're wondering if maybe we could do the recording, play the recording, and have you on for questions and answers. I think the kids would really, really like to see this.
Okay. So the questions and answers.
Yeah, what we could do for the Leo's Club, we could play this video for them and then just have
got
you
it.
on and answer questions. You don't.
Oh, of course. Okay. I wasn't sure what that meant. Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
But we could do that. Well, I'll set up a time we could do it. You don't have to be there the whole time just for the questions and answers. But
Absolutely.
I think the kids would really like to hear this, and it would be beneficial to them.
Sure. It'd be my pleasure. And I want to say thank you so much for having me.